Okay, so welcome to our study abroad podcast series. So today we have Zaidan from Indonesia, who is in Scotland right now. So we'll be knowing about his journey. So welcome Zaidan to our podcast.
Hi, Fish. Really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. So Zaidan, when was the very first time during your school time that you thought that you should go to Scotland or some country for studying?
Yeah, and if I remember, I think it's around like last year, 2023, at the end of 2023, around October or November. But pretty recently, like before that, actually my parents want me to go to study abroad. But me, as myself, I only just applied for uh the master's degree at September, October, and I received the offer letter around that time as well.
Sure, sure. In your LinkedIn post, you mentioned that you were representing Scotland at your school function sometime, like, and you have a picture, etc. Can you tell a bit about that?
Yeah, it was back in my junior high. I represent Scotland as my class get the country like it's like a cultural event that held by my junior high school, and I got to be the representative of Scotland. And there I used the kilt, the national dress they have, and I don't know at that time that I want to study at Scotland, but it just happens to be like, oh, manifestations does go a long way.
Sure, sure, sure. And once you decided that you will go abroad, which were the countries you were considering? Scotland or any other country you considered also?
Initially, I wanted to apply to about five universities in the UK. Why the UK? Because in the UK, you only required to study for a year for the postgraduate program, and I applied, but after I think it through, I only applied to only two campus, which are the Edinburgh and Birmingham.
Okay, okay. And then you got offer from Edinburgh, and it was an obvious choice to choose over Birmingham.
Yeah, I got the both offers from Edinburgh and Birmingham, but because of maybe the rank of the city, the countries, and the universities, and also the sustainability rank, I picked Edinburgh for my postgraduate study.
Sure, sure. And you had to do any test like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, GMAT, etc. for this program?
For my specific program, which is the Energy, Society, and Sustainability, it doesn't require any uh, GRE or like more advanced tests, only IELTS. So yeah, and SIs.
Okay, you also received a scholarship, some scholarship that you mentioned on your LinkedIn, LPDP awardee. What is that?
LPDP awardee is a scholarship from the Ministry of Finance from Indonesia government. So yeah, after I have my offer letter or unconditional letter from the Edinburgh, I apply for the scholarships. It's a fully funded scholarships that give Indonesia students an opportunity to study abroad and get covered for their like financial needs like that.
So does this scholarship have some terms and conditions that after you study you have to come back to Indonesia?
Yeah, for the scholarship, Indonesia government have give like a mandatory uh have to go back to Indonesia for two N plus one, which is for the UK, you have to be like 3 years study working in Indonesia, but they give like flexibility for us to have some work experience 2 years after graduation. So I can work part-time or internships 2 years after my graduations and have to go back for 3 years. And then after that, it's free.
Okay, okay. So it's basically 3 years abroad, 1 year of your education, 2 years work experience, and then 3 years back in
Right.
Indonesia, and then you are free to go wherever you want.
Yeah, that's correct. Fish, yeah.
Okay, okay. And once you decided that okay, you will go to University of Edinburgh, you had to go through the visa process and booking your accommodation, etc. So how was your study visa process? Was it straightforward? Any hiccups? What documents you needed?
The student's visa requires like it took times, but it's not that long actually, because maybe the longest part of it is when we like gathering our documentations, like personal documentations, and also there's a health test for the student visa for in the UK, which is the tuberculosis certificate. So that takes some time. And yeah, besides that, it's all like straightforward. I got my visa for just around 1 until 2 weeks of waiting. So it's ready for collections after that, just 2 weeks.
Sure, sure. And what about the accommodation? How did you book the accommodation in Edinburgh?
In terms of accommodations, I found my accommodations through the student accommodations website, which is from the campus web. They provide students to choose their accommodations. Yeah, it's living with other students. It's not a dorm, it's more like a flat. And I pick this like student housing instead of private because of I don't want to be worried about the bills, electricities, and something like that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And the scholarship that you got from Indonesia, the government, is covering your full tuition fee as well as monthly expense also, right?
Yeah, the scholarship from Indonesia government, they provide several financial support. For example, the tuition fee, they fully cover it, and the second one is the living allowance. So living allowance is basically several amounts of money that they transfer to you that you have to be managed to you have to manage it in terms in for your like accommodations, your living costs, and everything.
Sure. And this amount is same for all the people who get the scholarship, or different people get different amounts?
Different parts of the world would get different amounts because it's adjusting of for their like cost of living. Maybe in the Japan it will be different, in the US, and Indonesia government like offers several types of funding or scholarships. For example, there's a partial, there's a fully funded, there's like a targeted scholarship. So there's many types of scholarship for masters and PhD from Indonesia.
Sure, sure, sure. So usually this scholarship is constant, more like country-wise. Like each country will have similar kind of amount given to students, and then obviously there is like a full, partial, semi-partial kind of scholarship.
The unique thing is this fish that for UK only, it's like different areas, different amounts of man difference of allowance, different kinds of allowance. For example, London students will have the highest allowance, and other parts may be lower, and Edinburgh also got a bit higher. It depends on the living costs there, and they have calculated it, then they give this certain amount. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sure. And which flight did you choose to come to Edinburgh from Jakarta?
For my flight to Edinburgh, I flew with Qatar. So I had a layover in Qatar for a bit, and I explored Qatar for like half a days, and that's nice. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. And so once you arrived in Edinburgh, you had some surprises that you would have seen, like let's say you lived your life in Indonesia and then you come to Edinburgh. What were the initial surprises that you see once you landed at the airport? Like what were the things that were very different
Uh,
or shocking, surprising?
the most surprising and the biggest difference here, between here and my country is the weather, of course. They have like a very cold one compared to Indonesia. When I arrived at Edinburgh at the airport, it's so foggy. It's like misty. The maybe temperature is around like 8, 9 degrees Celsius. I like cold better. So when I arrived here, I was like, oh, I'm so happy to be in the cold side of the world. But people said the weather will be harsh when it's winter. So I don't know for in the future what will I say, but that's the one thing about the weather. And Edinburgh is like a really nice city for sightseeing. They have like uh medieval buildings and something like that. It's so nice. Yeah.
So you did lot of walking trips here and there, all the hilly regions up down.
Yeah, hilly region, and I walk more than I'm like usually did in the Indonesia. For example, like every day in Indonesia, I spend around 5,000 steps a day, but here minimum is like 10,000 until like 15,000. So like triple times of the walking day. Yeah.
So do you miss the ojek here?
Object. Yeah, it's like convenient there to have an object like motorcycle, taxi, but here it's cost so much more. So I won't be able to like go back and forth with taxi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. What about the food difference?
The food difference. Here I have cooked a lot because I like to eat much more portion than the restaurants offer. So if I buy out, it's like doesn't make me full and but it's so expensive then but I really don't like have any issue for the food because we can find chicken thigh, beef, and anything like that easy. So if I want to cook something Indonesian, I already bring the like sauce, like instant sauce and something like that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So here the food may not be that spicy always, right? Like Indonesia.
Yeah, the spice is different, so I will try to adjust with it. Yeah.
Sure. So your accommodation is like one room for yourself, or is like a kitchen? It has kitchen as well.
Yeah, a flat has like 7 rooms. My flat has 7 rooms and have a common rooms that have kitchen, uh, dining table, TV, sofa. So we mingle a lot there with many other students from other countries. I have like US, India, China, and many more.
Okay, so all like seven rooms have like seven country people. No country repeated.
Yeah, no. But I think there's like two Chinese. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Population, China population is maybe a bit more there.
Yeah, because of maybe the conversion of populations that make
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And you have started your classes now, or you're yet to start?
I have started my first class was in Monday, so I already study 2 classes and tomorrow I'll have one more.
Okay. So when you entered the class the first time and you studied your bachelor's in Indonesia and you came to the class here, how was the teaching difference? What was the education? The way they teach was a bit different. Anything difference?
I don't like realize many different from the in terms of the teaching terms, teaching types, or like the thought mechanism of the lectures. But the only difference for me is like the language. So they use English, of course. Indonesia, we use Indonesia, and maybe the friends. I like the friends, the diversity, so we get to know other backgrounds. That's the difference. Maybe a bit more like 2 ways here in Indonesia. Maybe that's not like matters a lot. That's good.
Sure, sure. And this English thing versus Indonesia, the language difference, because you already cleared this English exam, IELTS, TOEFL, etc. So, but still, the things that are in, let's say, the way they say it in native English is not the same as translation English, maybe. So, did you struggle a bit in the translation or like talking to even like other people or like sometimes like saying jokes, etc.?
Oh yeah, for the jokes, of course, because maybe it's for our like conversational in terms of like cross nationalities, it's hard because different culture, different kind of jokes, but and for the like studying course, it's like not challenging, so it's easy to understand the educational things, but to make more relationship closer, it's harder. But the accent itself is different. Maybe Scottish accent's a bit hard to understand. But overall, it's really good to like learn how to uh mingle or make relationship with other nationalities. So I'm learning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. And you do cooking by yourself, or you learned cooking, or you're cooking back in Jakarta, or you now learning now?
I never cook in Jakarta actually, but here I learn to cook easily, like a simple kind of meals. Yeah, it's because here cooking out is not like that normal for international students. We cook more and it's much more cheaper. So yeah.
Okay, okay, sure, sure, sure. And do you do this also, like cook once and eat two, three times out of the same cooked food?
Yeah, yeah, I cook the same meal for like two, three times or even more. Like so that's like meal prep, making it easier uh things to like take meals to my school and something like that. So I have been like eating a lot of the same kind of food.
Sure, sure, sure. And you found other Indonesian student? Like, do you have like a society, Indonesian society in your college?
Yeah, we have a lot of events that like held by the Indonesian society. I think there are like hundreds, 200s, 100 until 200 people from Indonesia here, but daily I only met them like once because uh, I don't really go out to like Indonesian people society. I more I'm more like going out with the my program students. So yeah.
Okay. And what is your class size? Like, how many students are in your class?
In my class, there are around 25-ish until 30 students. Yeah.
Okay, and these 30 students are like from different nationalities.
Different nationalities, only two from Indonesia, like a lot from a lot from England. There's one India, I think, Turkey, many countries.
Okay, sure, sure, sure. And do you also get assignments like you have to do at like a homework kind of thing?
Yeah, we have already got the assignment, like the deadlines, the lecture, the course director gave it to us in the first meeting. So they like explained to us how to do it, when to submit it, and something like that.
Are you also looking for any part-time job or internship now?
Here, I have not like I haven't applied to any, but I'm planning to because I think getting experience is like essentials for postgraduate students. So I'm planning to, and I have a thought to do internships in the UK.
Okay, okay. So someone gave you any advice that you have to apply internship like very well in advance, like once you go only you should apply, start applying because there are not many positions and yeah, you have to secure summer internship much earlier. Any advice like that given by anyone?
I have talked with the alumni from my program, and they said that yeah, you should like apply to one or two or three, like many, just try to apply as much as you can for the internships opportunities or the work opportunities, because here in the UK the competition is like really like high because of the maybe there's a lot of international students, there's a lot of immigrant, and uh, that's challenging, but there's a lot of advice that I receive. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. And you came to Edinburgh alone, or you had like other people also in the same plane?
In the same plane, I don't have any. I just flew by my own to Qatar, but at Qatar, I met like Indonesian people that use the same flight as me. So flew to Edinburgh. I have one friend, even though we're not on the same seatings, but I go to the city center with him. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So not in the same college, different college, is it? He's from different
Different
college.
college, just the same nationalities. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. But you knew him before, or you met him at the airport only first time?
I believe I have met him in one of the events that held by Indonesian Society back in Jakarta, but I don't really know him. I only like talked to him like once, and in Qatar because we met. We have like a lot of conversations happening.
But you knew that he is also taking the same flight.
Yeah. I know. He will take the same flight as me, but just from Qatar because we have different flights from Jakarta. Like we
Okay.
happen to meet at the Qatar airport.
Okay, sure. And what are your plans for the next 2, 3 years, future goals?
The next 2, 3 years, of course, next year will be graduations and finishing my studies with distinctions if possible. Uh, Distinction is like the highest honor in the UK. And then getting to a program postgraduate or like graduate program work. It's like a direct track to working in in here, and then probably internship as well. And the next 3 years after I have like gathered a lot of experience, I'm planning to go back to Indonesia, develop my country, and my dream goals is to provide sufficient access to energy to all Indonesian region, especially for the far side of the nation, like the suburban area and something. So that's why I'm studying energy and access. Yeah.
Sure. And coming to the very last question, so there are a lot of people, who are thinking about coming to Edinburgh or like UK or in general go study abroad somewhere, like your juniors, right? So what advices would you like to give them? Some tips?
uh Advice from me, probably I will say like don't afraid of like apply because many people don't don't even try, and then they just say like it's hard to study abroad. But for me, after I just apply, and there's so much information that you can gather in while you wait for the application and something like that. So basically you just start now because you won't know when you will get accepted, or maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow you will get the chance to study abroad. And from just this like short period of time I've been here in the Edinburgh, I've learned a lot, and I suggest many of younger generations would like chase their dreams, doesn't need to think about what other people say about it's hard and something like that. You just have to do it. That's my like advice.
Sure. And using of LinkedIn, you use LinkedIn a lot now or not so much?
I have used LinkedIn like often because I love the environment there, how the professionals connect with each other. For example, Vish, you connect to me. That's so amazing. What an experience for me, and thank you so much. That's one of the perks being on LinkedIn, maybe. Yeah.
Sure. So thank you, Jadan, for your time, and we hope our audience will learn something from this podcast. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yeah, bye.